How pathetic can some people be?
There was no billboards where I grew up. Not enough people to advertise to. I grew up in Riggins, Idaho. 410 people and an hour from a stoplight. Do you know those little rundown bowling alley, single-screen theater towns? I would have killed to live in one of those towns. I have no sympathy for people who complain about how boring their town is. I'm like, really? A little slow here? You have a stoplight? Yeah? Then shut your pie hole, city slicker. Slow's growing up pretending to play on the only paved road in town, when really, you're hoping to get kidnapped. Yes, I would like some candy. Shotgun. Let's roll, creepy. You know, it's not actually that easy to get people to laugh about something like kidnapping.
Dumbass of the day. 93.3 KZOZ.
That is so great. You found a comedian
From Riggins.
from Riggins, which is really just this little town
it's
on
a
the
place-
Salmon River where they do like rafting trips out of.
Jeremy and I used to have to do high school, or not high school, it was the entire school because it was such a small town.
Yeah, it was grade
was
school,
like
junior high, high school.
Kindergarten through 12, they all went to the same school. And we used to have to do the dances there because for one weird reason, our radio station that was like 120 miles away was the only radio station that they got down in this canyon town of Riggins, Idaho, which was in a different time zone altogether.
Yeah, it was right when you crossed over into Mountain Time. You were in Riggins, and it was literally about a half a mile long, if that.
Yeah.
Maybe a quarter mile.
They said, we'll put you guys up in a hotel. And we're like, okay, cool, whatever. We get there, and it's like motel.
It's a motel. It was like 7 rooms. I think they have like 3 motels there, and they each have like 7 rooms. That's about it.
And we had to share the room. I was like, God, this is miserable. I knew I picked the wrong profession at that point in time.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah, I know.
I think we still went to some little bar and you know, we got our drink on later that night.
You like this lifestyle. Charlottesville, Australia. It's a town of 5,000 people. Now, recently we had a flub. I don't know if I'm supposed to mention this, but I'm going to.
I think you should.
Friggin' hilarious.
I don't know what you're talking about, though. The radio station had a flub?
Yeah, the radio station had a flub. We don't know how old we are, okay? This is
we're trying to figure it out.
We're in the process of figuring it out, but we've been in the process of figuring it out for the last like 4 or 5 weeks. Because we were thinking that coming up here pretty soon, we were embarking on what? The
50th?
Was it 79? 79?
We didn't know when the radio station started, and we thought it was 77 or 78. We come to find out it was 75.
Yes.
Is when it became a rock station.
So, and that means in 2015.
It was before the current person that owns the station bought the station, which he bought it in 78 or 9.
So in 75,
the company that
we should have been celebrating in 2015, we should have been celebrating our 40th anniversary.
Yeah,
right?
we said, well, we'll just go to 50.
Or 45.
No, 45 is dumb. We should do 50.
But we totally missed the
50's
boat
landmark.
on celebrating our 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
Because the station went on in 75, and we were under the impression that it was 78, possibly 79.
Hey, I was born in 75. I can't be held accountable for this, neither can you.
78 or 79, which then means that it would be next year or the year after that we'd be celebrating this landmark that we should have been celebrating 2 years ago. Actually, almost 3 years ago. So, yeah, we kind of screwed up. And that's exactly what the folks of Charlottesville, Australia did. They had a huge celebration prepared for the town's 150th anniversary. But then they realized that just like KZOZ, they were 3 years too late. The mayor said that some of the locals believed that the town was officially recognized in 1868, which means that they would be coming up on their 150th year in which they would celebrate. But a follow-up check of the state records revealed that the correct year was, in fact, 1865.
Oh.
So they're actually celebrating their 153rd year anniversary coming up. Confusion was compounded by disagreements among local historians. Those damn historians.
They should all be fired.
You historians and your facts screw up the party for everybody.
Historians. If you get something like this wrong, you should be fired. You should find another profession.
Actually, the town was founded in 1865. And there was a flood many years ago in which a lot of the town records were lost, so they had no idea. They just thought that, oh, well, maybe it's 1868. I don't know. The anniversary celebration that had been planned for more than a year will go on despite the mix-up. So,
yeah, at this point, if you've made such a big deal about it and it's been a year in the planning and they've been promoting it, you just say, shut up. Shut your mouth. It's 1886.
Woohoo! We're 153!
Just keep the lie going.
Can we do that here?
Yeah, well, yeah. What do you want to do? Make up a date?
70? No, it was 75, right?
I don't know. We don't know if it's 75. We think it's 75. We're going to go 75.
We're gonna. So can we just celebrate 43 years of the Central Coast's best classic rock or whatever the hell
You have
it
to
is?
understand, people that worked here in their 20s and 30s in 1975 probably aren't alive anymore because when rock and roll DJs, they just don't live that long. So
That's not true.
We're just going to make that up.
What actually brought forth the question was we reached out to somebody who's a listener that we know used to work at the radio station. We asked her, hey, when did you start working at the radio station? She said,
She didn't remember.
She said 1976
Oh, okay.
in the text message.
She did?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh, so
she's like the local historian in this one because we're like, oh, crap, 76.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, and it had been around for a while before I started working there. I was like, oh, no.
it was all because of that Richard Blade guy that was here in 79. That's when we thought the station started. Went on to work for
God.
K-Rock and anyways. Shouldn't have ever took that interview.
Terrible.
Now look at you're losing sleep at night, I can tell. I can see the bags under your eyes.
Let's hear it for our 43rd year.
What year do you think it was?
I'm thinking you guys got to be 78 or 79 because I was here and I used to listen to 1400 AM, which was K-Sly. And that was when I was a kid. And then I remember being about 7 or 8 years old is when KZOZ started coming around.
But
Okay.
did you start noticing it, or did it like come around?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if my dad was too cheap I didn't get an FM radio until then.
yeah.
All he gave me was an AM radio.
Yeah.
Or
That's what we thought, too. We really thought it was 77 or 78 because I heard that somewhere else. But then we talked to this gal who was a DJ here in 75. And I think she said in 75 it changed to a rock station. It was something else for a number of years. And then it changed to a rock station in 75. And it became,
And we really don't know. And the weird thing about it is we've kind of exhausted most resources on it. I mean, we haven't really lost sleep over it, but we get a little bit curious from time to time. We're like, come on, we got to get to the bottom of this, and then something else distracts us, and we're like, oh, squirrel. And then we get off of it, but it's a bit irritating knowing because we know that it's the longest running radio station around the area.
But
by far,
but thanks for calling in because now we at least know it was rock by 77. So that's
yeah,
good.
because I remember getting my single cassette AM FM little boombox, and that's when I was like, "Whoa, there's FM? What's going on here?"
Yeah, thanks for. You know what? That's what we should be doing.
My
We should be
mom's
putting
car.
this out to Facebook. I mean, we have this great audience here that has been listening to this radio station for decades, and who knows? Maybe there was somebody out there that remembers, back in 75 for some reason because I don't know, their sister was born or they had their first kid or.
Jason writes and he says he remembered listening to something called Club 93 in the 80s, and it was more of a hip hop thing. Remember pop music and rock music? The lines were blurred in the 80s.
It's called pop rock.
Yeah. And
It was actually a thing.
They coexisted. Like
You might have heard some Michael Jackson on a rock
yeah,
station.
Michael Jackson, and then you would hear the next song you would hear would be Billy Squier. So it's like there was a blurring of the lines in the 80s, and we don't know whatever the reason was for, but it's
Oh my God! Jason said he had a cassette tape of it. He just wrote back in, and he said that it was called Club 93, and they played Salt and Pepper.
oh, push it. Aha. Push it good.
Who knows? They did a lot of weird stuff here in the 80s.
you
and
would hear
90s.
you would
that would
hear
have been 90s, though.
You would
Salt
hear
and
a
Pepper.
radio station. No,
Was that late 80s?
That'd be late 80s.
Okay.
You would hear a radio station play like Billy Squier and then Salt and Pepper. I mean, and then Huey Lewis and the News. And
Yeah.
that was still considered a rock station in the 80s.
He thought it was. He said he was pretty sure it was at night. So they do, specialty one-off things. Maybe on a Friday night they called it Club 93, and They probably didn't have a station that played that kind of music here, so they tried to play it. I don't know. That's so weird.
Phone
Can't
Jason.
imagine that now.
Phone Jason. I would love to hear that cassette, by the way. Jason, Facebook Jason, if you got that and you could make a copy of it for whatever, like even if you could make it digitally, I would just love
He
to
said
hear
he wishes he could find it. He can't find it.
Oh, dang. But Phone Jason said that his dad was too cheap to buy an FM radio until probably 79, 80. When were you exposed to FM radio? Was it from the jump?
I want to say, yeah, it really was. I mean, I don't remember the year. I had to be very, very young. My mom used to listen to a station in Seattle. It was 101.5 KPLZ, and it was an FM station.
Yeah.
And listen to that.
I remember my mom would buy the cheap cars. She had a Chevy Citation, and in the Chevy Citation, it did not have an FM radio. It just had an AM radio. So she would have to listen to
crazy.
KJR Seattle, Channel 950, and that's what the jingle was. And it was they would just play pop music. But then I remember I had a friend, or no, my dad. His dad got the car with the first digital radio. He had the first digital radio. It was FM, and that was the big selling feature on the Ford F-150 that he bought. And man, how much better it sounded than the Chevy Citation. I was like, what's going on? So then we got the FM tuner in the house, and it was like game changer. Everybody stopped listening to AM radio, man. And what's AM radio good for now? What, sports talk? I haven't even noticed that.
News, sports.
What about oldies music? Like, I mean oldies, like Frank Sinatra, like,
Yeah, you hear that. You hear that on AM radio. You hear pastors preaching on AM radio.
Yeah.
But I mean, I listen to a lot of AM radio because that's where you get news and sports. So, interesting. Somebody just wrote in and they said, I remember back in '76 recording KZOZ because they did an AC/DC marathon. And boy, if you have that on tape, if anybody has old tapes like that, oh my God, we would love to get some audio off of those that we could use in our, 45th or 50th anniversary, whatever that is.
43rd. Sure.
Whatever that's going to be.
Woohoo! We're 43.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.